Good morning, everyone. So, a little bit more stabilization. This could be the start of something small, not big. Uh, we have prices coming down, futures anyway, near a significant support point, a whole number, 5,500. Um, so, the contraction yesterday, and we had to move up, back down. Are we in positive gamma yet? Well, if you'll explain to me what positive gamma is, I'll tell you. I have no idea. Anyway, you got to look at open interest and where the large open interests were yesterday on the S&Ps. I think it was at 5,500. Um, all of that stuff is brain damage. I don't even want to get into the conversation, the truth, but I could explain gamma to you in a much more meaningful way. If you want to come into the green room, we could do that at lunchtime. Anyway, um, so the beginnings of a turn. The chart of the week came out over the weekend was pointing out the most simplest thing to keep you from, getting too excited over one day wonders. Can it close above a prior day's high? That is the most simplest thing. Right? Something comes down, you look to the left. Is it at support? Can it close above a prior day's high? Does it come down like here to major support? It forms a green candle, a bottoming tail bar. Can it close above a prior day's high? Now, that doesn't mean you should do anything, but that's one simple way of saying, hey, buyers took control in a way that they couldn't do it before. So it's going to be the same thing today. Can they close above a prior day's high? And what'll that mean? It closed above a prior day's high. Can it go up to the next level? Just watch, right? Just watch. Turns like this, if they hold, lend themselves well to put spreads because as things get extended lower, say, okay, I believe prices won't go a certain distance below a certain level. Is there premium? Is it liquid? I put the spread, what's the time to expiration, so on and so forth. So what we see happen here is yesterday had a strong move, was another move down. Last week we had discussions about slowing momentum and how to read that in the green room. So momentum slowed, came up. So here's some overnight trading, and here prices are pushing up into a minor resistance area, but for the moment has closed above, not closed. This bar's not done yet for another almost 4 minutes. A little less. Can it close above those pivot highs? But it pushed above those pivot highs. And so that's a start, right? It's a plus. Where does it end the day? Chop around here, whatever. We're just going to observe what it's doing. So far, it's in a decent uptrend on the 5 minute. Qs extended, wide range bar. What's to the left? Oh, close enough. Just some support area there. Same stabilization. Looks a little stronger than the S&Ps. The close is still above the pivots, coming up to minor. Minor isn't such a big deal as far as resistance goes. And you can see this big move down and this sideways correction created this void. So potentially maybe it can get up to 20,000, which would be a decent move into that daily big red bar. Still would not change the trend on the daily time frame at all. Broke through support. And so naturally you think, oh, maybe it can come down here. Kind of got close yesterday. So now it's in the process of trying to see what's going to happen. Buyers stepped up. Institutions start to accumulate. They think, oh, it's down a certain amount. It's getting closer to support. And they'll be willing to sit with this as it jiggles around to see what happens. And The Russell, same story, drop, wide bar, stabilization. It's in the downtrend. Got resistance over there. Another spike up on the news and back down again. It's going to take some time to jiggle around here and see what's happening. We got more economic news tomorrow to deal with. So who knows what President Trump might spew out in the middle of the day, creating another intraday tizzy, or who else might say anything. So it's a news driven market, and it is what it is. Gold's consolidating its gains here. Still looks pretty good. Silver coming up to the top of the range. You've got a pretty messy pattern. What can you do? Just, sitting through these kind of jiggles, easier said than done. There's no hope in gamma. Oh, I can speak to you about gamma for a while, but I just don't have the time today. You know, I'm not an expert on this option hocus pocus stuff, but looked into enough to I understand it. And the way it's explained is just you got to dumb things down when it comes to technical analysis and especially options because you know these option guys like my partner they're the big brains in the world and they just like complex things. And so if you don't dumb it down, it's just like anything else, the indicator based methodology. If you don't dumb it down, it just leads you into the black hole. And that's another soapbox. Anyway, Bitcoin stabilization everywhere. So there should be opportunities at least intraday on the long side. We'll see how far it gets. Crude oil stabilizing on this significant support level. So some good things besides just stabilization. Right? Oil's cheaper. Right? So the inflation conversation, that's a good thing. The bad side of it is the economy slowing, so on and so on and so forth. Interest rates coming down, another bad thing for the economy. So yesterday, I mentioned in the room, hey, look at the 10-year. As things were beginning to make the turning around, I said, you know, bonds are coming down. We got this M top. This is a positive. You remember the bottoming action here, the head and shoulders bottom and the whipsaw, and eventually it got up to the target area after these gyrations. Well, now we've got an M top, a rejection of the high, a retest, a semi-climactic move. Right. I say semi-climactic because it came out of this consolidation. Um, Tariffs, EU retaliation. Well, Jose, these tariffs are kind of a moving thing as far as the implications. Trump is it's coming tomorrow, or we're going to wait a month. Um, Yesterday, there was, oh, I'm going to double down on Canada with the steel and so on and so forth. And I think the markets have digested that, with this correction. So uh, we'll just have to see. Then, you got what are the EU? They're doing, I guess, lowering interest rates is good. Their talk about helping the Ukraine, I think, is a farce because I don't think anybody there is going to, their people be up in arms to say, oh, tax me, give my money away to, you know, fight this ridiculous war. Um, Zelensky now, according to the news, after shooting off a bomb into Moscow, he's willing to negotiate. It's just, one of these ridiculous things that are going on, hopefully coming to its end. And now, the Republicans and Democrats with the same bullshit, excuse my language, of shutting down the government and the budget and all that stuff, which always gets worked out in the end. So the market has come down quite a bit. Some things are at some support. I wish the internals were a little bit more cooked, which they're not. So it could have some scary one day or 2 days things that don't take the markets down very much that would line the internals up, but got some positive things, interest rates, bond prices coming down a little bit. Markets are stabilizing for the moment. We'll see how far it goes. Um, you know, there's your interest rates, down here on major support. We got the measured move that we talked about a while ago. So they've reached this destination. And so now we need to watch, you know, as we would on any time frame, but from the daily time frame, we want to see some constructive patterns. And this is, I wouldn't call constructive yet, but it's improving. You had this accelerated move into the support, and it's just jiggling around here. So interest rates stable at this level, you know, oil stable. These are positive things. Now we want to see, um, the transports, which got killed yesterday. They're down to major support. So now we want to see the transportation stocks begin to stabilize here. And so this could start the process of repairing. So repairing is sideways price action, breakdown failures, possibly a retest of a low after a little move up. We don't know, right? So these predictions, it's oversold. This is a buy. Oh, now whatever the PE forward PE ratio of the S&P looking out over the next 100 years, all this kind of stuff. Just look at the charts and see, are we getting stabilizations? Do we have breakdown failures? Do we get a bottoming tail bar on a sell-off? Those kind of things. Bar by bar analysis will guide us. Right? And then we look at the intermarket relationships to say, okay, interest rates have stabilized, oil has stabilized, transports have stabilized, and we're getting constructive patterns now. Our job is to go out there, right? And it becomes a little more difficult. I mean, not difficult, we can find them, but they're fewer and far between with finding stocks that have shown relative strength, that still have these upward trending patterns that have, so that's what happens in a correction. So now you have an overwhelming amount of things that look something like this that have moved down a tremendous amount. It's on some support. It's gapping up today. It's green. Nothing. Well, you could look to see if you do a put spread, but you'd want to see how it closes because you don't want to guess that it's going to hold. But if it's a green day, that these are the kind of patterns where you start getting consolidations on the 65-minute. Look at this is just stair stepping in it. And you get this in a lot of indices and stocks where they stair stepped down on the 65-minute because there were a lot of these stalls, right? Try to go up and continuation and stall, which creates these stair step patterns on the way down, which leaves lots of support. However, what'll happen if the market truly makes a turn here is, and you're going to do swing trades on constructive patterns, they'll come up to these areas, and this will be the hard part. They will jiggle. And if you're going to hold, you're going to have to give them some that jiggle room. But eventually they'll consolidate and eat through this resistance. So it's yet to be seen. Right now we're waiting to see what's going to happen here. Right. So where are we at? Right? Near the top of yesterday's range, well below the 200 MA. Right? You see where that 200 is. It's lined up. You've got a gap down here and this congestion. So now with SPX, as we always do, we're going to see what's down below and what's up above. So because it's up here a little bit, hey, if we can get a strike up above the 200, that should be a no-brainer. And if it's down below, it should be no-brainer. So this is more bringing simplicity to this zero DTE thing that has become quite the fad, I don't know how long it'll last, but it's a big deal. People with the zero DTE stuff. But you got so many out there that making it like it's such a big deal to figure this out because they get into gamma, vega, varna, with all this stuff. Just like any other credit spread thing. How far away can you get? 54, 55. Of course, because the market's up, it comes up a little bit. 4. Delta, thank you. We can't forget about Delta. And Thega and Thea, whatever, and
Yeah,
Black Scholes.
we're gonna do a put spread on Delta today.
All right. I hope there's some gamma involved because it's not exciting without gamma, Dan. 57.60. Come up. Let's see where this is at. MT Live today, folks. So we are above the 200 MA. Right? Into the congestion down here. It ain't going down there today because you got news tomorrow. So this is where it's at in the middle of those ranges. It's probably good for an iron condor day. Right? Yes, Dan will explain. That's Dan's humor. But look, it's not going to either one of those today, unless there's any other news coming out. There's some oil news coming later on. That's about it. So there you have it. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Are you asking about my Delta?
I don't know if you mean the airline or you've got a new faucet for your bathroom. I don't know.
Yeah, look what I just posted. Yeah, I posted uh, I posted 5 new ones pre-market because this is put spread galore environment right now. I said that in a video last night. Whenever we get a Climo on the spiders and we have the internals at a bullish extreme, just end of story. There should be a ton of put spread candidates. So, well, that's Delta. But so yesterday in this afternoon rally, or yeah, 2 p.m. rally right here, we started putting on put spreads. And so we did 5 of them yesterday. I'll come back and review them, but I've been moving stop to break even. Well, let me just show you right now real quick, since this is a put spread environment right now. They're different patterns. So AEM is gold. We sold a put spread, today's Wednesday, under Monday's low. Charlie, a bank. There's a lot of Climos around the 200. Sold a put spread, the 65 put spread for Friday. Just $2 wide is all. GoDaddy, we've been in. Netflix we did yesterday. Buy setup, gap fill, bullish turn. That was one of the stronger fangs in the morning yesterday. And W we did in the afternoon. I see, I would never buy this. Sloppy as can be. But the stock's at a reversal point, down a lot. Q's reversing, gapping up. I move stop break even. RCL, buy setup at the or Climo at the 200, gapping up. I'll be moving stop break even. So all those look great. And I put on, let's see here, pre-market. I wish I did SMCI yesterday. I mentioned it. So I posted that for a put spread for next week. Intel has some more news here about getting some investment and so forth. But look, it's down a lot on support and it's gapping up with the market making a turn. It's a put spread idea. So, sometimes we have a hard time. We're selective as can be and test your patience. And when they line up, it's like Greg talks about the fire hose. You won't be able to keep up with all the trade ideas. ALGT is an airline along with Delta. I posted both of those today, but it had over a prior bars high. Boeing, Climo, bullish reversal. It's just a put spread for Friday. So we got 3 days. As Greg said, take in the premium, and as long as it stays above that, by expiration, we make full profit, which is premium received. Kava, let's see, this one's not a great Climo because it's more steady selling, so I made the entry harder. So the entry on this is not a prior bars high, but it's over Friday's high. I want this to take out the high of these 3 bars to give me the confidence to sell a put spread there. JPM, Climo at the 200. And finally, XPID, we have a bear call credit spread. So this was the climactic sell setup, and now it's a Bear Island reversal. So I said 5-minute low, we'll sell a call spread for Friday. So see how it's just the exact opposite, picking a short-term high. All right, not many earnings here. 477 S, I don't know, bullish gap, but I had better. Wow, Groupon gap is shocking me. Gap up here to the 200. I guarantee you, well, can't guarantee, but that must have blown through the expected move. So the expected move is what the expected move was 177. Wow. So it is above the expected move, but wow, I'm shocked it was that much. ASM, over the counter penny stock. It's worth watching. Daily, weekly, monthly are in alignment. Casey, another Climo. It shows it here gapping up 11 bucks, but I don't see any prints. But if it is gapping up, then a 30-minute high put spread, BTS, and all these S's. I don't see any prints, but it's messy. All right. So hubs here, gapping up, another Climo idea for Friday. American Airlines. Now this one's weaker than a couple of the others I showed you, but look at the size of this ugly big red bar. That's the biggest red bar of however many months here on the biggest volume. So that alone says pay attention. That might be a selling exhaustion. So it doesn't mean buy it, but it means pay attention. The 30-minute high, that might be a put spread. Cough, beautiful Climo. The spreads are illiquid, so it's not a great put spread idea, but 30-minute high. Well, let me rephrase. Over the high of these 2 bars after 30 minutes. This could be a directional. Hilton, the hotel spending scenario got killed on the sell-off. Look, another Climo on volume at the 200. So do you all see why I'm getting excited for put selling? I have so many patterns. Okta, this was earnings, this gap breakout. And look at the weekly, monthly. So I'm watching this as a core long. Just, waiting for a good entry on the daily. SGI, I got an alarm, another Climo support 200. XFED we talked about, Rocket Lab. Could be a retest pattern. Cake is weak. So if I get a bear 1, 2, 3, we can short this on a Thursday, which should not trigger unless it's really weak. Duolingo. It's trying to make the turn, and I like the gap up. So this would be a 5-bar turn if it can get over this green bar. Another put spread idea. Upstart, Greg mentioned, put spread idea. Then a nasty sell-off. So this is one I wouldn't be interested at a minimum unless it took out Monday's high, which it is now doing. So 30-minute high, put spread idea. VXX, we shorted a call spread on this the other day. That's one of my favorite, I love shorting volatility when you get a climb on the spiders. I have an entire 4-hour seminar on that strategy of trading volatility on the website. And this came from Sam, Sell Setup. So see, now that the market's gapping up, let me set an alarm 2730. So if this is gapping down in a weak, in a strong market, then that's a candidate. Our SGI alarm, I just had to go off. I don't see any prints, but my alarm went off. Hilton alarm, 30-minute high. Hilton looks great. NCLH, another cruise ship. Climo, JP Morgan, gapping over the entry. So that's a go if you can get filled. Usually we say wait 5-minute high, but no, that looks fine. All right, so this one we were going to sell the $10 wide, 2.25 for 135. Pan W. I got filled already on my Pan W. Nice. Nice. I put an offer out and my position disappeared. So it went a lot smaller than I thought. All right, so that's one inventory item gone. RCL, nice. So I think we're going to get some Climo directionals also here, but I was, since we weren't, it's a function of confidence, right? And I wasn't confident to start laying into directionals yesterday, particularly with the afternoon sell-off following the 2 p.m. bounce. But look at this guy is acting beautifully. 13 cents. I'm going to close this. Midpoint's 13. No fill. Let me try 15. Our Tesla, you know, like I posted a telegram earlier. Um, I said bid a nickel. I put an order out. I'm not filled. Let me see where it is now. $0.17 Tesla. So that's fine. I'll just leave it. Our Netflix doing great. No, JP Morgan. I got sidetracked. This was the trade. That's the 225. Yeah, we're not anywhere near the credit. Shoot. Cake low alarm. This was the one I said it was weak. All right, it's an early alarm. Nothing to do yet. All right, RCL. Let's close. All right, 213. Oh, eight. Well, I already said close it. I'll just leave it. So out at 18 cents, RCL. DHR, we got put spread. Netflix got a nice game. Let's tighten the stop. So we got, beautiful turns here. 5:15 hourly. Well, when I say beautiful, Q's are number one, spiders number two, and the other two horsemen are a mess. Let's have Charlie. Our NVIDIA's flying too. Let me see where that is. Oh, 100. $0.10. So we met our first target. Oh no. Let's just take it. I mean, you can try to squeeze out another extra few pennies, but you know the drill. We made it so quickly. No, true, but it's a big gap, Don, and I think I think as long as we don't, get, retrace too much and get bearish, then I think they'll get a little more confident over time, the bulls, to say, oh, okay, it's not falling. Hourly, 15 hourly have voids, but like I said, use the best, spiders second, and the other two are more of a mess. So I actually prefer it this way because then we don't have to be in a rush. VXX. Let's cover half now, 28.